As a kid, characters like Squidward, Benson, or Candace felt like the problem.
Don't you two have any brains?
They ruined the fun. They got in the way.
It's not fair! I feel so alone.
Then you grow up, you stop being annoyed by these characters and start recognizing them. In your coworkers, in your parents, and maybe even in yourself. Here are 7 characters that get sadder the older you get, starting with Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants.
You call yourselves good neighbors? You're the worst neighbors!
As kids, we saw him as arrogant, selfish, and permanently annoyed. A guy who thought he was misunderstood, chasing recognition he never got. Furious at 2 neighbors who were just happy to exist. Except, Squidward genuinely has it bad. Worse than the show ever stops to let you notice. As you can see, he's actually an octopus. His own father named him Squidward because he thought it was funny.
I thought Mr. Krabs was your dad!
No, Patrick.
And it goes back further than that. His medieval ancestor, Squidly, swore that if he never learned to play the clarinet right, his 7th grandson would be cursed tenfold.
May mine own great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson be cursed.
Squidward was that 7th grandson, cursed by his own bloodline before he was even born. And here's what makes it sadder. Squidward genuinely has talent. His self-portraits are genuinely good. He's one of the most educated, cultured characters in the entire show. But he's stuck working a cash register for a boss who sees him as a cost to minimize. Sandwiched between 2 neighbors who treat his house like a theme park. Every single day, with no way out and nobody around who could even recognize what he's capable of.
I don't pay you to breathe.
You hardly pay us at all.
And yeah, people will say he's an idiot, and sometimes the show makes that case. But then you get an episode like when he works alongside Jim the original fry cook, and you catch a version of Squidward who isn't miserable. The potential was always there, it just never had the room to breathe.
Good old Jim. When you worked here, the place had class.
And that's the part that gets complicated, because Squidward isn't wrong about SpongeBob and Patrick. They're indeed exhausting. They're constantly invading his space and interrupting his peace. His irritation is legitimate.
No, no, no!
But because he has no other outlet, no success to point to, no audience for his talent, all of that legitimate frustration gets squeezed into pettiness, and it comes out looking like the problem is just his personality.
Maybe you should start acting a little more normal!
So growing up is realizing Squidward was right all along only grabs half of him, because the same Squidward who deserves your sympathy has a pettier side too. When SpongeBob spends a whole day pulling harmless little pranks on him, Squidward doesn't let it slide. He plans, he builds one big elaborate prank to get him back. And it works a little too well. SpongeBob doesn't laugh it off. He actually breaks down crying. Squidward's first instinct? He laughs. For a second, that's the whole picture. The grumpy neighbor who finally crossed the line. But he realizes he didn't just prank SpongeBob, he actually hurt him. And the same person who looks heartless spends the entire rest of the episode chasing him down, desperate to make it right.
But it must have been pretty good to make him cry like that.
Oh.
That's the real Squidward. Not cruel, just worn down. The bitterness is the loud part. But the second he causes real damage, he can't live with himself. And that's what makes Squidward so much sadder the older you get. He's the version of yourself you quietly hope you never become. Someone with real talent, stuck in a life that was never going to notice it. Growing a little more bitter, one ordinary day at a time.
Another day, another migraine.
Squidward had a terrible boss. Benson is the boss. You'd think that's better. Somehow, it's worse.
You want to waste your lives playing video games? Then fine. I respect your decision.
When we were kids, Benson was the angry boss who wouldn't stop yelling, always threatening to fire Mordecai and Rigby, always one step from ruining whatever fun they had planned. But after rewatching the show, I truly realized how good of a boss he actually was. I mean, despite everything, he was always patient with these guys, no matter what they did.
Even though you're a jerk most of the time, you're still a good friend.
And once you see where he came from, the yelling stops being funny. Benson grew up in a verbally abusive household. His father's actual advice to him at the dinner table was that he would never get anything in his life unless he yelled for it.
Pass the salt!
And when Benson found the one thing he loved, drumming, here's what his father told him.
Wake up! You don't have any talent! Get a real job!
So he left and built something on his own terms. He became a stick hockey master under the name Death Dragon, took on an apprentice named Dave, and watched Dave get decapitated in front of him by a man named Chong. He quit that same day and carried it for 10 years before he could face it again.
Didn't want to see you end up like me. Some dried-out loser stuck working at a park.
When he finally moved on, he joined a band called The Heir of the Throne and played the legendary drum solo on a 150p skit on their debut album. But 6 months later, they kicked him out, replaced him with a machine called Dramatron 6, and gave him 0 credit on the record. So he went on a game show just to win enough to quit the park, made it to the final round, and lost by mispronouncing the word bandana.
Banana!
Oh, I'm sorry, Benson. The word is bandana!
The stress made his hair fall out on the spot. The Busted Cart episode is where it gets impossible to keep treating him as a punchline. Mordecai and Rigby ditch the job, tank his standing with his boss, and when it all collapses, Benson breaks down.
Cause if I lose my job, I have nothing!
Here's the part nobody points out. Benson is patient. Not calm, never calm, but patient in the way that actually counts. He fails, stands back up, and tries again. His whole life before Mordecai and Rigby is that exact cycle on repeat.
Well, Benson, at least we got the cart to the dealership.
Yeah.
And he still gives them another chance. Every time. Not because he can't handle them, but because somewhere under all that yelling, he decided they were worth believing in. That's the version of Benson that only clicks once you've shown up every morning to something you'd rather walk away from. The yelling is the ugly part you see from the outside. Underneath it is a guy who got failed by every system he ever trusted and still refused to let it turn him into someone who stops caring.
Do you have any idea what I went through?
All right, I'm sorry.
Most of us have felt that at some point. The specific exhaustion of being responsible for those who don't take things seriously, while you carry the weight of consequences they never see. The feeling of having something you built being taken from you and replaced by something cheaper. And through all of this, he still decided to push 2 slackers towards something better even when they pushed back.
Keep it together, Benson. You still got a whole day of work left.
That's the thing that hits you when you're older. As a kid, you root for Mordecai and Rigby. As an adult, you realize how easy it would be to end up like Benson. And the only question left is whether you do it with half his patience. Benson broke down crying. Mr. Robinson can't even do that. And the reason why is one of the saddest things this show ever wrote.
I've had enough of this family.
Mr. Robinson flies into a rage at the smallest things and spends half his screen time arguing, scheming, or just glaring at the Wattersons. He's the irritable old neighbor 2 kids keep running circles around, no matter how clearly he wants nothing to do with them. And let's be clear, he's not a villain. He's not some evil mastermind. He's just a grumpy retiree who wants to be left alone. And Gumball and Darwin will not let that happen.
So can we call you Gaylord instead of Mr. Robinson?
Don't push it, kid.
We don't know much about Mr. Robinson's backstory, but in the show's recent continuation, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, we saw a glimpse of his past.
I worked hard, but I knew why I was doing it.
Anyway, for most of the show, that's the whole joke. The grumpy man and the 2 kids who adore him anyway. And you assume there's nothing underneath. Then comes the episode called The Heart, and it quietly explains the whole man in a way you never asked for. Gumball and Darwin overhear Mr. Robinson admit out loud that he can't stand them, that on his side, the friendship was never real. So they do the reasonable thing, they walk away.
But Bye, Mr. Robinson.
Wait, where are you going?
And here's the twist nobody sees coming. He misses them. The man who spent years pretending to hate these kids suddenly can't handle them being gone and goes to absurd lengths to win them back. He tries stalking them with friendly messages and gets arrested. He sets off an atomic energy kit and gets arrested again for violating international peace treaties.
This time I got arrested for violating 14 international peace agreements.
Yeah, this man nearly started World War III trying to say sorry to 2 kids. But underneath all the chaos is a guy who clearly has no idea how to do the one thing he actually wants to do: apologize. And when he finally tries, the show drops it on you. Mr. Robinson goes to cry and physically can't. The tears form and his own heart pulls it right back in.
Exactly! Less expression, more suppression!
Because his heart spent so long protecting him that it now blocks every feeling except dislike. Caring got him hurt once, so he stopped. And he stopped so completely that his body forgot how. It takes 2 kids he pushed away for years, flooding that heart with pure affection, before he can finally let a single tear out. And if you ever known someone who keeps everyone at arm's length and calls it not needing anybody, you already know exactly what's wrong with them. You might even know it from the inside.
I loathe you a little less than I did before.
I'm not saying Gumball and Darwin aren't annoying. They are, same as SpongeBob and Patrick with Squidward. But the show makes its point anyway. The man who couldn't stand them couldn't function once they left. So he treats the people who break through as the problem, right up until he loses them and finds out the quiet he always wanted was the loneliest thing in the world.
You know, Watterson, maybe you and I aren't so different after all.
That was a man who shut everything out until he couldn't feel anything. The next one is the exact opposite. She feels everything, sees everything clearly, and the saddest part is that no one believes a single word of it.
Mom, quick, Mom, look, before it disappears!
To most of us, Candace was the dramatic old sister who screamed into her phone, chased her brothers across town, and tried to ruin every cool invention, yelling,
Build a haunted house my foot. They're so busted.
She grew up as an only child, with a kids' show called Ducky Momo for company because the house always felt empty. Then her brothers came along, and just like that, she wasn't the center of the household anymore. But here's the tragedy of her whole character. Every wild project she ever witnessed actually happened. And every single time she ran to show her mom, the evidence vanished the second before Linda arrived.
Let's go.
So Candace told the truth, and nobody believed her, not once. That pattern wore her down. Her obsession got heavy enough that her friends could barely keep up with it. And even her own mom started questioning her sanity. By the 5th season, her obsession genuinely started deteriorating her mental health.
No one understands me.
She was a teenager repeatedly gaslit by reality itself, and the one parent whose approval she wanted most never gave it. So she poured everything into busting her brothers instead, which is a shame, because this is a girl who plays bass, basically every instrument that starts with the letter B, and wins essay contests. The capability was never the issue. The show keeps the camera on her panic and leaves everything she's good at sitting quietly in the background. And yes, the snitching got exhausting. The obsession pushed people away, and she made her own life harder in ways that are genuinely hard to defend. But she was never wrong about what she saw. She just never got a single person to believe her.
Mom, you've got to see this now.
That's the part that lands heavy, because you'll recognize it the second it happens to you. When you spot a real problem at work and everyone waves it off. When your version of events in a relationship quietly gets rewritten. When the same old pattern repeats with family and you're the only one naming it. Most people know exactly what it feels like to be right and have the entire room disagree. Candace shows what happens when a kid who once had the whole house to herself suddenly shares it with 2 creative forces who upend everything. She lost her place and never got the simple acknowledgement she needed to feel steady again.
I'm calling Mom. And I am not using the banana this time.
She had the talent and drive to succeed later in life, yet the show just rarely let us see past the frantic old sister chasing impossible proof. She reminds you that sometimes the person yelling loudest about something crazy might just be the only one seeing clearly in a world that keeps gaslighting them. So far, it's been people who were owed more than they got. From here, it's different. The next one was built wrong for it from day one, handed a kingdom anyway, and blamed for everything that followed.
Soul is unacceptable!
The Earl of Lemongrab, the screaming lemon man from Adventure Time. Back in the day, most of us saw him as the unhinged royal who threw everyone in the dungeon for 1,000,000 years and couldn't function in any room he walked into.
1,000,000 years dungeon!
He was absurd, loud, and genuinely hard to sit through. The whole joke was that he was supposed to be in charge, and was obviously the least equipped person for it. But once you understand where he came from, the joke stops being funny, because Lemongrab wasn't born, he was made.
You made me! You're my glob!
Princess Bubblegum created him in a lab as an experiment, and by her own admission, he was the first one to go wrong. He came into existence already broken, missing the social wiring every other character picked up naturally, and then got handed a kingdom to run with zero support and zero guidance on how to be a person. He can't read a room. He doesn't understand how his behavior lands on anyone.
It's creeping me out.
I am the Earl!
What makes perfect sense to him reads as nonsense to everyone else, and nobody ever stopped to explain the gap because nobody had the patience for it. His entire personality, the screaming, the obsession with order, is one person trying to face structure onto a world he simply cannot read. He can't understand people, so he demands they become predictable. He can't navigate a situation, so he deletes every variable in it.
12 years dungeon.
It was never tyranny for the sake of power. It's someone terrified of a world he was never built to survive. By the time we catch up with him, ruling completely alone has pushed him to the edge of breakdown.
No one understands! I am alone!
When Princess Bubblegum finally asks him what's wrong, he just tells her he's miserable, he's completely alone, and he has no idea how to fix it. So she gives him a clone of himself, and Lemongrab immediately calms down.
Yeah!
The thing he needed the whole time was just one person built the same way he was. Someone who could exist in his exact frequency without flinching. And that's the cruelest detail in the entire arc. The fix for Lemongrab was always just company. He was never going to click with someone who came factory standard with normal social skills. He needed someone like him, and nobody thought to give him that until he was already broken. And then he eats the clone, slowly, across multiple episodes, as the loneliness and the power wrought the one thing he had, until he swallowed the one relationship that ever worked for him, and he's alone again. Bigger, worse, and still the exact same unfinished thing Bubblegum accidentally made.
No, you're floating too high!
Lemongrab is loneliness with a crown on. Most of us know someone who moves through the world slightly off, who can't read a room, who pushes people away without meaning to, who clings to rigid rules because chaos genuinely scares them in a way it doesn't scare everyone else. And that's what flips as you get older. As a kid, you call those people annoying and just move on. As an adult, you start asking what they were working with and whether anyone ever actually tried to meet them halfway. The screaming never stops being irritating. That part's real. But behind it is something that got sent into the world incomplete, then blamed for being incomplete. That's a tragedy wearing a lemon suit.
No! No! No more helping!
And you know what? Lemongrab had an excuse. He was literally built wrong. The last one was built fine and ended up the same way anyway, because the people who were supposed to teach her how to be a person were too busy forgetting she existed.
What? Arnold!
Helga Pataki, the bully with the pink bow. Loud, mean, bossy, running her classmates with an iron fist, and an endless supply of nicknames. She punched Brainy every time he got too close, terrorized Arnold while secretly building shrines to him, and spent most of the show being the reason everyone else's day got harder.
What are you looking at?
But watch what's waiting for her at home. Her father barely registers that she exists. When he bothers with a name at all, it's Olga, her older brother, the one who actually counts to him as a person worth noticing.
In a minute, Olga.
No, I'm Helga, Dad.
Her dad once guessed her age as somewhere between 5 and 7. Her mother in another episode guessed 8. Helga is 9, and when her mom got corrected, she was horrified, which tells you she's already lost track and never went looking. It got bad enough that Helga confronted her about it in one genuinely sad scene.
I'm 9 years old, Mom. You're the parent. You're supposed to take care of me.
Meanwhile, Olga soaks up every drop of attention in that house and calls Helga baby sister in a tone that refuses to acknowledge anything actually wrong. And here's the gut punch. Olga eventually admits the constant praise damages her too, that she actually envies Helga's freedom. But Helga can't take that as comfort. She's still the one nobody noticed.
I get really sick of it. You're lucky they don't even notice you.
A kid who's invisible at home will find a way to be seen somewhere. Helga just picked up the loudest version available. The brainy thing is its own kind of strange. He's always there, right behind her, and her reflex is to deck him every single time. He's the one person quietly paying her any attention, and she shuts it down on instinct.
Okay, I hit him. So what?
Lila is the same wound from another angle. Sweet, easy to like, the girl Arnold actually notices. Helga's hatred of her has nothing to do with Arnold. It's about watching someone get handed for free, the exact thing Helga's been begging the world for her whole life. Underneath all of it, in private when no one's watching, is some of the most genuinely beautiful writing in the show. Helga's poetry is sharp and emotionally precise, good enough that Mr. Simmons calls her work the highlight of his career.
Getting to know you through your writing assignments has been one of the joys of my teaching career.
He reads it aloud and leaves her name out of it, because she gets embarrassed. A girl who rules through fear can't stand being known for something real. Now here's the part to be careful with. Helga is the bully, and the show never pretends otherwise. The backstory isn't an excuse. She still shows how she treated people. Plenty of kids grow up invisible in a home and don't spend their days making everyone around them miserable.
Your obsession.
You're right. Maybe I need my obsession.
But it does explain the blueprint. She never had a single person show her what basic decency looks like, so she went out and handed people the exact treatment she got. That's a pattern, and a pattern doesn't justify itself just because you can see where it came from.
Nobody in my house even knows I exist. They never listen to me.
The one place where that pattern breaks is Arnold. He's kind to her for no reason at all. And to a girl whose own father can't remember her name, that lands with a weight that has nothing to do with romance. She built a shrine for the first person who ever treated her like she was there. And that's what gets you once you're older. As a kid, Helga is just the bully, the obstacle, the one making everyone else's day worse.
It's not gonna be that easy, sister.
As an adult, you recognize her. The kid acting out because acting out is the only thing that ever got a reaction, mistaking being loud for being loved. You stop seeing a bully and start seeing a 9-year-old who decided that if nobody was going to notice her the easy way, she'd make them notice her the hard way.
Okay, I'm not gonna hit you this time. This one's for free.
Helga, Squidward, Benson, every one of them is the same story told in a different way. We root for the SpongeBobs and the Mordecais as kids.
I can respect that. Yeah, that's cool.
Because we think the world is a playground. They cause total chaos and the script keeps them safe from the fallout.
Too bad that didn't kill me.
Then adulthood hits at the exact moment you realize you're the one holding the bill for every piece of glass they broke. Maybe that's what growing up really is. Not becoming the hero you rooted for, but finally understanding the ones you didn't.